I'm going to begin by launching the Visual Studio tool, and this is the start page for the Visual Studio tool. It is configured to have the Visual C# as the default programming language. I go to File. If I want to start a new website, I go to the website, from File and New Website, and I take ASP.NET Website, and I can change the name of the website because by default the websites are given numbers. This is website 24, and I can change it to CV sample website, for example, and then I click OK. Then it starts up with one default page, ASPX page, default page, and let's just have a brief look at the window we have for this application. On the left side you have the toolbox, which has the series of controls that we can use in the course of programming when we are in the design mode. This is the design mode. If you have the toolboxes, if you want a button, for example, you drag and drop it into the toolbox, and there you have a button. If you want to see the database connections, you go to the Server Explorer and you see the connections, the data connections that you already have, and you can right click on data connections to add another connection. And then on the other side, this was the left side. On the right side you have the Solution Explorer, where you have links to all the web forms we are working with. We can have the configuration files, the class files, and the HTML files on this Solution Explorer. Below the Solution Explorer you have the properties window. These properties are usually related to the controls and other interfaces that we have on the design palette. We have properties of the controls and other similar things that we have on the design palette. All you need to do is to highlight the element. For example, if we highlight the button, we'll see the properties of the button, most important of which is the ID of the button, which we can change to what we like, which is what is used in it's the reference for the control in the course of writing the code. We get back to the source code for the default page, and the default is, this is the ASPX page, but in the Visual Studio you also have the ASPX.cs page, which is where you can write the code behind the files. Under the website, if you want to add new items, for example, you want to add another web form, you want to add another SQL database file, you want to add a web configuration file, you want to add a data set, all of these are possible when you right click on the website and you select add new item, then I'll just take you now to a small program which I designed. For example, it's a program which has an SQL Express database which has a list of applicants looking for jobs. Here on the Server Explorer you have the final database.mdf. It's the database file, and the tables you have the job seekers table, and you have first name, last name, e-name, date of birth, place of birth, CV. These are the columns in the table. And in the program we have a data bound drop-down list control, this here, which is linked programmatically to a form view, which is a method for data access. And when you run the program, you select a name which is linked to a specific value. You have on the form view the required, the information requested on the form view for that particular applicant. Let's look at the program when it is run. For example, Control F5 to run the file, and there you have the program running on the local host, and if you select one of the names, you get the first name and the last name which we requested for, and the ID of the applicant. Then you can update the name to a new name. So in a nutshell, I've made use of the toolboxes to select the form view, there are many things you can do with the toolbox. For example, to create personalization and security, which I like very much, so that each user can log into a site that is reserved for the user, and multi-view controls, wizards, XMLs, web paths, etc., etc. The tool is really exhaustive. It's a very broad tool. It's not that easy to master everything about the tool, but I believe and I think that I have the basics and the great potential to improve using this tool. Thank you very much.